Wait! Horror movies are so appealing because of their ability to keep audiences' stress levels at a high, and rewarding that tension with shocking material that is fun to watch because not real people are dying. However, just like with everything in life, there's going to be some bad apples. Sometimes with horror, the bad apples are fun to look at. Other times, they just suck butt. And today, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone watching, we will be looking at the worst horror movies of all time. Now, there's a ton of lists out there that have the worst horror movies of all time. Yet the problem I feel with them is they always choose the same horror movies. Like recently, the Winnie the Pooh horror movie has gotten on everyone's lists for one of the worst horror movies of all time. And don't get me wrong, your time is better spent castrating yourself rather than watching this horror movie. But those lists can get repetitive, so hopefully I spice it up with enough movies in here that you don't know about. Or maybe you've heard of them but have never watched them, because you're smart.
Pancakes! Pancakes!
No pancakes.
Pancakes!
Either way, like most of my videos, all the timestamps are linked below, so if you want to jump around, feel free to do so. But with all that yapping being said, before we fully jump in, if you're new here, welcome, and if you're returning, it's good to see you again.
Right?
Let's get into it.
Don't say it, don't think it, don't say it, don't think it!
I'm afraid of putting this into your head.
Tell me.
Bye-bye, man.
The Bye Bye Man. If the title didn't tell you enough already, this movie sucks butt. Like 4-day-old crusty cheese butt. I also made an hour-long video about how much I hate this movie, so I won't harp on it too long here. But I'll quickly give you my main gripes with the movie. Besides just like the Bye Bye Man, it's a stupid name for a stupid character. It's not that scary, it's a tall dude that looks kind of like a corpse. And he also does this a lot too. I'm gonna like, ooh.
You leave him alone.
It's like, you're not scaring me, you're just making me feel uncomfortable when you get close to me. But yeah, a generic scary guy with a CGI dog. The CGI does not look good. But a trope with bad horror movies that are just bad is the movie itself thinks it's way smarter than it is. An example of that for the Bye Bye Man is it's having its own thing.
Think it! Don't say it, don't think it! Don't say it, don't think it, 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 don't say it!
Shut up! And besides hearing that, like, throughout the movie and being very annoyed by it, he also has coins being dropped. Woohoo! And if the generic tall-looking scary guy with a weird finger didn't scare you, maybe the acting and writing might.
Know what I'm thinking?
Yes. I might just do that.
Yeah. You are psychic.
Kill yourself!
This movie is excessively horny.
Fuck yeah.
And I understand that that's a trope in the horror genre, but this movie's PG-13 to reach, like, younger audiences. There's a full-on softcore porn scene in this movie.
Oh my god.
And speaking of porn, the acting is almost identical. It's very cringy. Oh, and whenever the poop stain man comes, the horror movie thinks it's way smarter than it actually is. And the coins dropping and the characters throughout the movie constantly saying, don't think it, don't say it, don't think it, don't say it. It's so obvious that the director not only derived from other better horror movies, but they also thought that it would work and that the movie isn't shit. It's cringy, the scenes drag on way too long with people not talking.
That's nice.
Throughout the movie, it establishes that the three main characters have a weird love triangle going on. There's obviously cheating going on, but it's just so apparent with how, like, much sexual cheating is going on.
Jesus, it's a good thing you're not jealous.
It is good.
This movie just feels more horny than horror, and that's more of a specific gripe. The acting in itself is just terrible. The three main characters have no chemistry at all, and it felt like some of them were on LSD with their lines or just with the way they looked at each other, because they were like doing this. Like, are you shroomed out right now? Way too horny, bad acting enhanced by a worse script, a not scary villain, but the movie director would say it's Satan reincarnated, cheap jump scares, and some of the most laughable CGI I've ever seen. And worst of all, in any horror movies, there's only 2 scenes that weren't boring in this whole movie. With any movie, boring is not good, but especially horror. I'd say that's the difference between fun bad horror movies and just bad horror movies. With fun bad, you can have fun watching it. It doesn't matter if the acting's bad, it's way too horny, there's a stupid character. No, as long as it's fun to watch, that's okay. With this, it just felt like a chore watching it.
Bye-bye. What is that? Bye-bye.
I'm Amanda.
The Boy 2. The Boy 2 is one of the worst horror movies ever, mainly because of its ability to take away everything the first movie had going for it. So you need some context about the first movie. The movie follows a nanny watching over a little boy who has a creepy doll. That doll's named Brahms. And Brahms has some specific rules that everyone in the house must abide by. However, the nanny breaks some of Brahms' rules, which is a big no-no. It leads to weird paranormal events happening all throughout the home, and it always revolves around the Brahms doll. So far it sounds like your run-of-the-mill, average, haunted doll horror movie. However, the twist is what makes the horror movie stand out. So just letting you know, spoilers alert now. Alright, so the twist of the 2016 The Boy is that the haunted doll, Brahms, and every single paranormal event that's been going on has actually been orchestrated by a deranged man living in the crawl spaces of the mansion that the nanny and the boy are staying at. That man is also named Brahms, and he was the one whispering to the boy, he was the one doing all the misdeeds in the mansion. I highly recommend The First Boy. I know I just spoiled it for you, but it's still enjoyable watching it back, knowing the twist. But I implore you to watch the first one because the second one said, yeah, you know that cool twist we had? Screw that. You know how we can make a lot of money? By retconning everything.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
Because you know what? Something is actually possessing that doll. The second, The Boy, released in 2020, follows a family who moves into the mansion that the first movie took place in. And the same things occur in the first movie and the second one, where weird things are happening and the doll is being all wucky-wucky. Now in the first one it was some dude in the crawl spaces. In this one, yeah, I didn't see any mentally deranged unit of a man grab the head and do that. The son in the movie is kind of mute, so obviously weird things are going to go on with him. And the doll still has the same rules it did in the first movie. And so Brahms, the guy who is actually called Brahms, not the doll, he doesn't exist. It's actually the doll's rules this time, and not the guy. So don't worry about him anymore, he doesn't matter. The doll is actually hundreds of years old. Brahms, the doll, is possessed by some evil entity that has broken up countless of families by manipulating the children to kill the family. And then Ethan Hawke shows up with some tapes and watches it, and some guy's head gets run over by a lawnmower. Or wait, that's a good horror movie that this horror movie stole off of. The Boy 2 is literally just a run-of-the-mill haunted doll movie that goes a bit hard at the end. And putting it on this list is a bit disingenuous, because this movie can be enjoyable. However, if you watch the first The Boy, and then you watch the second one, it feels like a huge spit in the face to everyone who enjoyed the twist. And the way I think the second plot's movie could have worked out while not completely retconning the first one is just by saying that the doll was actually manipulating Brahms the whole time. But you have to include that scene in the beginning of the sequel. You can't just be like, nope, it's actually a demon that's inside that doll. We don't know what that guy was doing. What do you mean? I like that guy. With it being a spit in the face of everyone who enjoyed the first one, it does have a bit of a convoluted story. However, the acting is good. The scares are definitely there, and I do enjoy when a horror movie goes ham at the end. I was gonna say the reason it's on this list is because it jumped a shark, but it didn't even do that. It literally went backwards and told you you were stupid if you didn't agree with it. If you've seen The Boy and its sequel, do you also feel let down?
Falling.
The open house. There are 2 ways to ensure that an insomniac will go to sleep. One is a bat and a mean swing. The other is the open house. I guess there is a third way that's a bit more morbid, and if you watch the open house, you might feel like you should do that. This movie is so fucking boring. Like, the main character is a 25-year-old from 13 Reasons Why, playing another teenager, and he really likes running. Hey, he likes running a lot, and his dad died. No! But he also likes running, and then running some more, and his dad died. And his mom's a bit horny. And his dad died. What's the plot of the movie? It's some home invasion that's happening after the family is trying to put their house on the market, hence the title.
Say that again?
Operation Cyclone was a covert CIA program launched in 1979 to arm, fund, and train the Afghan Mujahideen.
But after the mother and son duo open the open house, weird events happen that make our main character believe that there's someone actually living in their home. Oh, and then he runs some more. The 2018 Netflix horror movie, directed by Suzanne Coote and Matt Angel, is another horror movie on this list that thinks it's way smarter than it actually is. The mother-son duo, dealing with the death of Papa, have to go through constant red herrings, and while red herrings are good, which quick context, red herring is being like, ooh, I'm very evil, I could have done something bad, and it's not actually me, it's like that guy. But like I'm acting suspicious and he's not. It got you good. In this movie, every single person that the mother and son meet is just a red herring.
My husband can't wait to meet the two of you.
I thought you had said your husband passed away.
Passed away? Oh, why would I say something silly like that? Goodbye now.
Especially pretty ones. I just mean the mountain folk can get a little scruffy at times. And I am not talking about the men.
This looks bad. Yeah, I was just on the back road, saw the for sale sign. Would there be any way at all I could just peek inside?
Like from the post office guy, who's kind of nice, but he's kind of off. And side note, I don't know if he's off because it's Netflix acting. You get introduced to all these people because of the open house. And while whodunit is really fun in any horror movie, when you make everyone a suspect in an overdramatic way, it loses its spice. And what really sucks about all these red herrings is that it's revealed, and spoiler alert, don't watch this movie. The movie reveals at the end that the intruder that was indeed fucking with them was just some random dude that we never saw in the whole movie. And what really sucks about that is that's actually a good twist if you didn't make the movie insufferable to watch. Like creating a false sense of unease, only to subvert expectations. I know that's what this movie thinks it does, but instead it just disappoints. And I know I made a joke about how it's Netflix acting. I want to point out that the acting in this horror movie is much better than most horror movies out there, but you can tell that the actors are being dragged down by the script. Oh, and yeah, it's a horror movie. There's supposed to be a scary guy, so let's talk about him. It's just a man in black. Like, that's his name.
What have I become?
That's all it is. So your scares with that are greatly reduced, and this movie definitely suffers from that. There's really not much to say about the scary guy. It's just a dude in black who's a home invader. There's no mask, nothing like that. He's just wearing a hoodie, like an outfit like I'm wearing, but with the hood up. And he's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, okay. The whole movie builds up to where it feels like the town itself is just against this poor mother and son who just lost their dad. No! And I think that would have actually worked a lot better than just being like, it's just some random guy. And who also just didn't murder you on like the first night when you guys were sleeping. This is not advice for any home invader, but if you're gonna stay in someone's home, like secretly, maybe kill him. Dylan Minnette and Piercy Dalton are the only saving graces in this movie. And I don't think they really had a choice, so I really hope they got paid a fat check for this. But the thing is, if I'm clicking on a horror movie, I want to be scared. I don't want to just focus on a mom and son dealing with grief and trying to sell a house because they can't afford it because Papa's dead. That's what this movie is, but it's padded out in length and then added in some scary bits.
You can't go and say shit like that and just throw it out there because there are repercussions and people actually have feelings. What?
So I typed in naked baby. First of all, they were sexy.
Smiley. If there's one way to make movies great, is to fill it up with actors who are YouTubers.
We have to do something, Dad.
I'm sorry, son. My hands are tied.
How can you see?
YouTubers like Toby Turner, or super uncontroversial figure at all, Shane Dawson.
Oh, bitch monkey woman, you're the best!
And unfortunately, they somehow got Keith David to be in this dog shit. Smiley follows a college student who becomes paranoid that she'll become a victim of an online serial killer. And that's the plot, baby. That's it. That's gonna make this movie run for an hour and a half. A plot that's never been done before. The way that Smiley, the movie monster, kills is through a website. And it's pretty much Omegle, but paraphone version of that. You know, because copyright and stuff and money. And the way that someone conjures up Smiley's spirit is by going on this website and typing in, I did it for the lulz.
For the lulz.
And then some dude with a mask pops up and kills whoever is on the other side. I did it for the lulz. That is the showcase of how great this movie is. And also, just Shane Dawson, that also tells you everything you need to know.
This child was probably 6 years old. And she shows me her Instagrams, which are like, first of all, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but like she's like sexy.
However, you do kind of get to see him get shot, which is pretty entertaining. Another horror movie that thinks it's way smarter than it actually is. And for examples like this, I'm just talking about the movie script itself. Whoever wrote this script thought they were like the smartest motherfucker ever.
We know that the physical laws that govern the universe are specific.
About computers being conscious, do you think that's really possible?
Yeah, hit me very frequently.
I think it's more likely that we'll all just kill each other before something.
They have conversations like high schoolers who just did shrooms for the first time. And I'm gonna spoil this dog water excuse for a movie. The pinnacle of the movie thinking it's smart is at the end it's revealed that the Smiley killer is actually every single person who wanted to just torture this poor lady. And it's not some urban myth that you can conjure up online. It's just a bunch of teenagers killing. And why do they do it?
Smiley will be around longer than any of us. You know, he's like the pyramids or the great work of William Shakespeare.
But if you were wondering why Smiley looks so good in some parts but then looks just so stupid, it looks like someone had a Halloween mask and they put like stockings over it. And I haven't even touched down on how you can see the guy's neck. That's not good in horror movies. Only a couple of people can pull that off, and you are not Jason.
I'm tired of all you pricks! I am so freaking mad!
The mask looks stupid, which sucks because that's the only thing the movie had going for it. I remember being scared of Smiley, like this Smiley, not the stupid masks. Because I saw some clip of it when I was just like a little wee lad.
Who called him?
So going into this movie, I expected to be scared at least by the guy. The design of the weird skin and like cut eyes and smile, it's really good. Why did you do this? The script is awkward and just full of 2000 slang. The acting is YouTube acting, which means ass.
This is the dungeon. I am the dungeon master. Unfortunately, the dungeon master never gets the princess.
And the ending contradicts the urban myth. And I know that's the point of the movie, but it doesn't make sense. Like, Smiley just shows up like a ghost, like this. How does a college student do that? I know you have 20 people conjured up for like 3 murders, which, to get your numbers up. Regardless, no one has telepathic powers. Not that I've met, and I'm almost certain Shane Dawson doesn't have any. That's stupid fucking. And another example of contradictions, Keith David plays some cop, and there's a part in it where he says to the main character, is like, "We believe you." And then at the end of the conversation, he's like, "But we don't, though."
We've had a few calls about this Smiley character, but yours is the first one that we've taken seriously enough to have this talk. Please. You need to see a psychiatrist.
What? This 2012 horror crime has absolutely no redeeming qualities whatsoever. And you'll probably have a more fun time shooting up Slenderman. Imagine a movie about Slenderman. Alright, now if that movie only has 3 minutes of Slenderman in it, you're right on. If it has more screen time for the character who's in the title and why everyone comes to watch, well, you're stupid. Yep, the 2018 Slenderman, directed by Sylvian White and starring Joey King, follows Joey King's character and some of her gal pals. One of them conjured up Slenderman and now she's gone. So in this movie, the Slenderman is still an internet myth. Definitely more of an urban legend than we know, though. Regardless, the homie is homeless because she's missing. And then the missing girl's friends, which include Joey King's character, also conjure up Slenderman, which was a big mistake. Because Joey King's character got sent a tape saying that they only had 7 days left to live. Wait, I'm talking about another good horror movie again. Yeah, so the plot's pretty much The Ring, but with Slenderman. One of the gal friends go missing, and the other gals are like, "Oh, we gotta find her, so let's conjure up Slenderman." And then the rest of the movie's just, ooh, spooky stuff. It might be Slenderman, might not be. This movie's an hour long and 40 minutes, and Slenderman only shows up for 3 minutes. Besides the lackluster story and dialogue, the acting is okay. It's another example where you can tell that the acting is much better than the dialogue. But that dialogue still not only drags down the actor's performance, but the movie itself. And there are genuinely some of the most stupid character choices I've ever seen in horror movies, which is saying something, in this pig's trough of a movie. And besides just being an utter drag to watch, it was a huge disappointment to any person like myself who grew up with the Slenderman story. And look, I think us fans of Slenderman know that he's kind of goofy. I mean, look at him. I get it in my pants. He's not the scariest of guys, and I get that. And there truly is so much you can do with this story. But the movie felt devoid of anything that made the character the character. There were cheap jump scares that weren't even scary.
Jeremy, look behind you.
Which, how do you mess up jump scares? And finally, the end didn't really conclude anything. 3 minutes of Slenderman. What the fuck? And this might be a hot take, but we're riding with it because we're cowboys and I'm irrationally angry on a Tuesday morning. I don't like Joey King. I'm sure she's a lovely human being, and she'll do more for humanity than I ever can think about, because I'm evil. However, she played a character so well that I can never see her as anything other than a snobby little brat. My introduction to Joey King was her playing Ramona, so anytime I watch her play anything else, I get irrationally angry. I could not see her as anything other than Ramona in Bullet Train. And I felt myself getting upset because I do need therapy. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone watching, that's where I'm going to end it today. There are so many bad horror movies out there, and I know I only picked a couple. But I also realized when writing this that I'm kind of just venting all my frustrations and not making this video completely structurally sound. Sorry about the Ramona and Beezus rant there at the end. If there's any other horror movies that just utterly piss you off with how bad they are, then let me know. And if you like the video at any point, then leaving one really does help me out. It helps the channel grow, and it just makes me smile. And finally, if you think I earned your subscription at any point, then make sure you hit that button before you leave. Alright, well, that's enough mindless yapping for the week. I'll see you when I see you, unless I don't. See ya.
Don't be afraid, I'm a friend.